This is a translation of Genesis 1 to 11, verses 1 to 9, the Tower of Babel story. First, I'll read the Hebrew, then the English, and make some linguistic comments. My name is J. Richard Middleton, and I teach Biblical Worldview and Exegesis at Northeastern Seminary in Rochester, New York. Vayhi chol haaretz, now all the earth, or and it was and it came to pass. Vayhi, that's what it means. In King James Version, always came to pass. Now all the earth. Safa echat, literally one lip, one language. All the earth had one language. Udevarim echadim. Words is devarim from devar. Echad usually means one. The plural has to go with the plural words. Usually translated same, but when you look at the few references to echadim as a plural with a noun in the Hebrew Bible, it usually means few. So maybe this is the beginning of an ironic statement about the Babylonian Empire by the small Israelite nation. Vayhi benasam mikedam, and as they traveled from the east, because min with kedam usually means from the east, but it can also mean eastward. It's ambiguous. Vayimtzu vika be'eretz shinar, and they found a plain, a bika, which means a low-lying area, a valley or a plain, in the land of Shinar. Vayeshvu sham. The idea of settling in a low-lying area to build a tower up to heaven is already going to be another ironic comment that we have from this text. Vayomeru ish el re'ehu, and they said, each one to his neighbor, Hava, nilvana levanim, come, let us make bricks. Literally, let us brick bricks. V'nisrafa lisrafa, and let's bake them well, or literally, let's burn them to burn. So here we have a bit of the pun that's going on between the word for make bricks and the word for bricks, because it's actually simply the verb related to the word brick. Levana is brick, levanim is bricks, and here is the pun. They have such few words that they repeat the word for brick. Let's brick bricks. So these letters, lamed bet nun, as Hebrew reads from right to left, or the LBN, English goes from left to right, are going to repeat it a number of times throughout this story. But here is the first example of them using few words. Here's another example. Seraph means to burn. So the seraphim, the angels around the throne in Isaiah 6, put a burning coal on Isaiah's lips. These are the burning angels. And the poisonous snakes in the wilderness that bite the Israelites in the book of Numbers are also called seraphim. They're burning things. Their bite stings, if you will. So let's burn nisrafa to burn lisrafa. Again, the sin, the resh, and the pay, SRP, is repeated because they got few words, okay? That's another example of maybe an ironic comment. Vatihi lahem ha-levana la'avan, and they had brick for stone. V'hachemar haya lahem lachomer, and for mortar they had bitumen. Bitumen for mortar. So what we have here is another pun, that they had levana, which is bricks, instead of oven, which is stone. Now the la is for, and for stone has the same consonants, the lamed bet nun. So brick is similar to stone, but not quite as good, because the Israelites use stone for building. Stone is very common in Israel, but not common at all in Mesopotamia, where you have to use mud from the silt from the Tigris and Euphrates rivers and bake it to be able to do monumental buildings. Likewise, they had mortar for bitumen, for mortar, which Israel used. They used bitumen. Again, a pun going on here with the chet, which is the CH sound, the mem, which is the M, and then the resh, which is the R. So what they use sound like what we use, but it's not quite the same and not quite as good. Again, another little bit ironic dig, perhaps, at the Babylonian civilization. Vayomeru hava nivne lanu ir umigdal v'rosho bashamayim. And they said, each one to his neighbor, they said, come, let's build for ourselves a city and a tower, and or with its head or top in the heavens or in the sky. So this is a ziggurat. They're not trying to ascend to heaven. They're trying to build up to heaven so the gods may descend through the giant steps of the ziggurat down to the temple at the base of the ziggurat. So building a city with a tower and its top in the heavens is equivalent to saying, may the gods bless Babylon. May they come and dwell with us and legitimate our empire. V'na'aseh lanu Shem, and let's make for ourselves a name, pen nafutz al pnei chol haaretz, lest we be scattered over the face of all the earth. Now notice, this is all the earth in terms of the people who are going to be scattered over all the earth in terms of the geography. And we know that this is going to be about the Babylonians, who in their creation story, Enuma Elish, consider themselves to be all the earth. After all, the gods only created the Babylonian peoples, the Mesopotamian peoples, the black-headed peoples as they're called, and the first city to be built is Babylon. So this is playing off of Enuma Elish, but giving an alternative reading of the story. Vayered Adonai lirot et ha'ir ve'et ha'migdal asher banu b'nei ha'adam. And the Lord came down to see, he descended to see the city and the tower, which was being built by the b'nei ha'adam, the human race, the children of Adam, if you will. Vayomer Adonai hin am echad. And God said that they are just one people. V'safa echat lekulam, and there's one lip or language for all of them. V'zeh hachilam la'asot, and this is the beginning of what they're doing, their works. La'asot is the infinitive of to do. V'ata lo yibatzer mehem, and now nothing will be kept from them, nothing will be impossible for them. Chol asher yazmu la'asot, all that they plan to do. So idiomatically, now nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. This actually echoes a phrase that Job uses about God, that nothing God plans to do will be impossible for him. So they're being like God in a certain sense. And then God says, Hava, nirda v'navala sham safatam. And God says, come, let's go down and let's confuse their lip or their language. Asher lo yishma'u ish safat re'ehu, so that it's really the relative pronoun which, they will not be able to understand the lip of his neighbor. The language will be confused. Now let's look at the word for confuse, v'navala. Okay. First thing to notice is it's almost identical to the Hebrew word for folly, nuvala. This is navala. Navala. This is navala. Okay, very significantly echoing the word for folly, but more significantly than that, it also reverses the letters that we've been finding before, lamed bet nun. This word for confuse enacts formally the content of the word by confusing these letters and reversing them. So instead of lamed bet nun, we have nun bet lamed. There is a confusion, and it shows the folly of these people. So the language will be confused. V'yafetz Adonai otam misham al pnei kol haaretz, v'yachdalu livnot ha'ir. And Yahweh scattered them from there upon the face of all the earth, and they stopped building the city. Al ken kara shama Bavel. Therefore it is called Babylon. Bavel is just the ordinary word for Babylon throughout the rest of the Bible. Ki sham balal Adonai safat chol haaretz. Because there God confused from the same word which you got nevala, let us confuse. This is the same word here. He confused the language of all the earth. And I think all the earth has to be read in quotation marks. These people who thought they were all the earth, they're now confused. Umisham hafitzam Adonai al pnei chol haaretz, and the Lord scattered them from there over the face of all the earth. So we have the final pun, which everybody knows, which is the pun between Bavel, Babylon, and Balal, to confuse. And that's why most translations render this Babel, because it sounds like the English word B-A-B-B-L-E, because there the Lord babbled the language of all the earth. but let's not forget that this is making a pun on the name Babylon, who claimed they were the first civilization on earth, and claimed that the city of Babylon was the first civilization on earth, built by the gods, not built by human beings. But in this story, there is a demystification of the Enuma Elish, so that it is human beings who build Babylon for their own name. It's not built by the gods to glorify Marduk's name. Enuma Elish ends with the praise of the 50 names of Marduk. This is about human pride building a civilization which is going to, as we know, oppress the world in the name of being the hegemonic epitome of what humanity is. We are all the earth. Well, God confused and dispersed and diffused the power of this great nation and opened the line of humanity up once more for redemption by calling Abraham and promising to make Abraham's name great. So that's a little quick tour through the Babel story. It doesn't solve all the interpretive questions, but it raises some of them that I hope will be interesting to you.